Hola, buenas noches y bienvenidos al Cine Club. Max Sennett y Mabel Normand, dos de las más grandes personalidades del cine mudo, coincidieron en The Extra Girl, la película que presentamos esta velada en nuestro programa. Nacido en 1880, Max Sennett fue uno de los grandes pioneros de la pantalla. Tras su formación en los espectáculos de vodevil, comenzó su carrera cinematográfica en 1908 como actor. Trabajando a las órdenes de David Ward, Griffith aprendió muy deprisa el oficio y ya en 1912 fundó su propia compañía, la Keystone Production, para la que produjo y dirigió infinidad de películas cómicas que gracias a su toque personal sentaron las bases de una nueva forma de hacer comedia y cuya influencia ha sido notoria hasta nuestros días. Además, Mr. Sennett fue el descubridor de algunas de las más rutilantes estrellas de la pantalla, entre las que destacan Fatty Arbuckle, Charlie Chaplin, Gloria Swanson, W.T. Fields y sobre todo Mabel Normand, para quien fue escrito especialmente el guión de The Extra Girl y con la que mantuvo en la vida real un sonado romance. Miss Normand adquirió su formación en los estudios Keystone. Fue una de las primeras especialistas en el lanzamiento de tartas de crema, una escena obligatoria en toda película cómica de la época, y consiguió ser la estrella de comedias más famosa de su tiempo, llegando incluso a compartir cabecera de cartel con el mismo Charlie Chaplin. Las cosas sin duda le iban bien a la actriz, sin embargo, después de terminar The Extra Girl, cuando se hallaba en la cima de la popularidad, un inesperado escándalo destruyó totalmente su carrera y quedó relegada al olvido. No obstante, para los más importantes estudiosos de la historia del cine, Mabel Normand siempre será recordada como la más grande comediante del cine mudo. A Miss Normand la veremos esta noche en una comedia dramática centrada en una chica pueblerina que gana un concurso y se marcha a Hollywood cuando sus padres le prohíben contraer matrimonio con su novio. En la meca del cine trabaja como empleada en un departamento de vestuario hasta que, después de muchas peripecias, retorna a su pueblo y finalmente consigue casarse. Esta película tiene momentos muy agradables gracias al talento de su protagonista y lo cierto es que se sigue con gran interés pese a los rótulos explicativos y a la ausencia de sonido en los diálogos. Bien, y ya nada más, solo desearles que pasen una feliz velada con The Extra Girl, en la que descubrirán a una gran actriz que acabó su carrera siendo injustamente olvidada y también a un productor-director que después de haber encontrado a tantas y tantas estrellas y una particular forma de hacer cine, terminó sus días en 1960 en la más absoluta miseria. Hasta mañana.
Atentos, textos en alta resolución e imágenes con la calidad fotográfica de Epson. Y a un precio impresionante.
Córtala, mójala y verás cómo se transforma. Nueva bayeta en rollo Vileda Magic, seca al instante. Ayúdate con Vileda.
Estos dos aviones son exactamente iguales. Si son exactamente iguales, ¿por qué pagar más por uno que por otro? Air Europa anuncia sus vuelos regulares desde Madrid a Mallorca, Málaga y Santiago, Gran Canaria y Tenerife, Arrecife, Barcelona. Antes de volar, consulte con Halcón Viajes, la forma más inteligente de viajar.
Maestros del pasodoble. Las mejores composiciones de Pascual Marquina y Martín Domingo, interpretadas por la Banda Sinfónica Municipal de Madrid. España Cañí, Marcial, Maestros del pasodoble, ya a la venta. Una producción RTVE Música.
Good evening, Mrs. Orson Welles, introducing the films in this festival of the silence. And this time we have a comedy for you by the King of Comedy. That was his title, and in fact, that's what he called his autobiography, Max Sennett. In fact, it says here in my notes that he only produced a couple of feature-length comedies, Tilly's Punctured Romance and The film you're going to see now, the diverting hymn of Americana and backstage Hollywood, The Extra Girl. The stars are Mabel Normand and Ralph Graves. I think you're going to enjoy it. But first, let's take a few minutes to see how the Senate style had started. The style which we've often heard belittled as slapstick, when actually all these extremely physical gags are extremely complicated to execute, very hairy to produce. Now here you have Max Sennett, seen in a characteristically frantic moment at his studio desk. He actually started, you know, as a boy soprano. He tried burlesque for a while, and then in 1909 drifted into the Biograph movie studio on 14th Street in New York City. And there everyone, including D.W. Griffith, did a little bit of everything. And Sennett wrote, directed, and filled in as an actor. Here he is in 1909, playing the butler. Shortly afterwards, Sennett started his own studio in California, backed by two gamblers to whom he owed $100. Fatty Arbuckle, Sennett himself in the middle here, and Mabel Normand were the studio's busiest stars. The cornerstone of Sennett's fun factor was to be the Keystone Cop. The idea began developing in Sennett's mind in 1913. It first emerged on the screen as the Bangville Police. The Bangville Police were a country constabulary. City uniforms and the police desk were to come the following year. But the antics were already unmistakably those of the Keystone Cop. Now, in 1915, the Keystone Cops themselves. The plot? A girl and a boy are trying to elope by boat, taking with them a justice of the peace. Her father, played by Ford Sterling, wants to stop the ceremony. He decides the only way to stop it is to drain the whole lake. Actually, the fact that the Los Angeles Park Department had announced they were going to empty the lake was Sennett's reason for shooting the picture in the first place. It was an ingenious way of getting a spectacular effect at low cost. Too busy producing to play anything but bits. The Keystone Cop in the next shot is Sennett himself. The Sennett comedies were usually two reels of organized chaos, from which not even the stars were exempt. And that's Mabel again, wallowing in the glorious mud. In 1914, Sennett produced Hollywood's first full-length comedy feature, Tilly's Punctured Romance. The star, Marie Dressler. At that time, she was a bigger name than Charlie Chaplin. She played a supporting role, along with Mabel Normand. Miss Dressler had come west to reenact the part of the jilted heiress that she so successfully created on the stage, but Sennett was in awe of neither the star nor the original play, and he soon reshaped Tilly into typical slapstick comedy, complete with the famous police desk and the pratfall and the Keystone Cop. spite of her strenuous efforts in Chile, Marie Dressler didn't find a career in silent film. It was to be 15 years before she became one of the greats of talking pictures in Min and Bill, Tugboat Annie. Bennett's comics had to be acrobats, too. Watch these cops dive in the surf. Sennett directed Tilly himself. However, he and Chaplin, whose stature was growing rapidly around now, began to have conflicting ideas on how to create comedy, and Chaplin soon started directing as well as starring in Sennett two-reelers. Charlie's costume was already established by now, although his screen character was still forming. This aggressive and inconsiderate little man would soon mellow into the familiar, lovable tramp. Great Sennett Keystone heavy man. Aware that Sennett underestimated his value, Chaplin was soon to put on his hat and told him leaving. Turning out 2 or 3 comedies a week took a lot of ingenuity, and Sennett had plenty of that. For instance, to give the impression of wide spaces for his chase sequences, he devised a revolving cyclorama, a painted background that moved past the actors who worked on treadmills. And of course, the wind machine saw heavy service. Another Sennett trademark and his most attractively packaged product is, of course, the bathing beauty. This, by the way, was the beginning of the era of the gag titles. Never before had so much girl been exposed to so many people. The costumes were condemned by indignant women's clubs, but moviegoers loved them. Realism was not a Senate requirement. Just as long as the girls were pretty and the comics funny-looking like Ben Turpin, the more improbable the locale, the more the fun. Gloria Swanson broke into films when she was only 16 and was soon working the Senate. She wasn't one of the bathing girls, but she was beautiful and she was versatile, equally at home, fending off the attentions of Wallace Beery, or flirting with Bobby Vernon. Off-screen, Miss Swanson was soon to be Beery's wife, and on-screen, she was soon to be Cecil B. DeMille's leading star. Carol Lombard also started in the Senate beauty department. Buddy's special protege was Mabel Norman, a madcap whose life was an incessant whirl. Ice cream for breakfast and parties far into the night. The opposite of her role in The Extra Girl. And now on with The Extra Girl, which was made in 1923.